Hey everybody, we're going to try something cool today. We're going to make like a totem pole, a paper version. Um, so if you don't know much about totem poles, I'll leave a couple links in the description that you can go check out a couple of things. But they're made by the Native American peoples in the Pacific Northwest. So a lot of people think that like all of the Native American tribes made totem poles, but only really a few of the tribes have done this carving. They're usually carved out of cedar, out of trees, and then painted in all these kind of bright colors. I've heard them, this website kind of tells that they're almost like a coat of arms, right? They tell a little bit about the history and symbols of a people, okay, of a family or of a clan, right? And so all these different animals have something to tell as far as a history or a story goes. So that's one way to think about the totem poles. So there's a lot of different pictures that you can go and look up and check out some different things. So I'll leave a link in the description to a couple of places that I found that I thought had some good information in them. So let's get started on the actual project and building this. So I've got a 9-inch by 12-inch piece of paper, but you can use whatever size you want, okay? A little bit longer and narrower might be easy to start with, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll this up and we're gonna keep it as the tube or the cylinder to build our totem pole in, okay? But in order to do that, I'm going to fold about a 1-inch little tab here. So this one is facing up, okay? And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, facing up, okay? And when I flip those over, what they're going to do is they're going to hook into each other, okay? So this is a little tricky to understand, okay, at first. But these two places are going to hook together, and then those are going to fold in, okay, and they'll be held together so that the totem pole holds itself up. So for working, you can kind of fold it up like this, okay, and press it down a little bit, and then you can kind of hook it together and check your progress and see how it's standing, what it looks like. But then you can also pull it apart and bring it back down and flat. So what I would tell most people is that this part right here, okay, that is folding in, that's going to be the back of the totem pole. So when you open this up, okay, if this is the back over here, then right down the middle, this is going to be the very front of the totem pole, okay? And then right on the center of that, halfway in between the edge and the side, okay, that's going to be the sides of the totem pole. So if you want to make wings that go out to the side, or if you want to make arms or something that go out to the side, or horns or something like that, they're going to be in this area. So this is the middle. These are the sides. And you have to think about it three-dimensionally, even though you're going to be building some of it flat, okay? So let me show you a couple of other things, okay? I've done this project before, and here's one that I made that kind of looks partly like a moose with the antlers, but also kind of like a bird, okay? And so I've combined a few different animals together to make a multi-animal creature, okay? And that's the way totem poles are, is they're often multiple animals kind of combined together, even also people combined together. So we kind of did this and created these different kind of designs, and we also made a clay version when we did this project. But then we can stack them all up together and make our own sort of totem pole. So that's one way to think about that. So let's get started. You might want to grab a piece of paper and just make a sketch first, okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so before you start working on anything, you might just think like, what kind of creature do I want to make? So I can start by drawing this cylinder shape here, okay? And we've done cylinders before, so this shouldn't be new information. But then, what kind of creature do you want? If it's going to be like my moose creature, then I probably want this big round shape for the nose, and then maybe I'll put some type of eyes here, and then I'll put antlers sticking off of the side, right? And maybe put some ears here or something, okay? And then maybe I can think about putting, you know, some hooves or something sticking out here from the side. But maybe I want to combine two different kinds of animals together like I did. So maybe I'm gonna have wings here, okay? So there's a few different ways to think about that, to create whatever your animal wants to be, okay? So whatever your totem is, maybe you have a favorite animal, maybe you have a mythological creature that you want to create. So just spend a little bit of time making a quick sketch so you have some idea of what you're going to try to do when you start putting things together, okay? And then grab a bunch of different colors of paper and start doing it. Now, a lot of the times the totem poles are all painted black, and then they have other colors as accents on there, but you can do whatever color you want for your design. So I'll let you decide how you want to do that. Okay, and then if you want to, grab some colored pencils or some crayons and do a little coloring here so you have an idea of what kind of color scheme that you want to create with your design as well, okay? So, first secret technique that we're going to learn when building with paper for making things three-dimensional, to make things kind of pop up off of the edge of your paper, is the paper spring, okay? Some of you probably know how to do this, but it's okay to learn or to see it again. So take two long strips of paper and put them 90 degrees, okay? Like an L shape, okay? They can be the same color paper, but two different colors looks really cool. And then fold them up on top of each other, okay? And just continue to fold them on top, on top. The more you can keep everything squared up 90, then it won't twist sideways. But sometimes a cool little twist can be interesting as well. So I'm gonna keep folding this until I run out of paper, okay? And then I have this cool paper spring, okay, which is something I can use to add depth to my creation and make things go off of there. So I'm going to do two more of these for the example, and then I'll get ready to start adding some other details. Alright, so I have three of those paper springs ready to go up here, and then looking at my design, okay, I'm going to start with the two main things that I want to get. I want to get kind of the main face of the moose and then the antlers. So we'll work with that part first. So I'm going to make the main shape of the moose and cut that out. And then get the antlers as well, okay? So that'll be a good shape to start with. And then let's make the antlers a different shape, okay? Or a different color. So since I'm going to have two of them and I want them to be about the same, I'm going to go ahead and cut them by using a symmetry cut. Okay, we've done that before. So I folded that piece of paper in half so that when I cut this out, I'll get two that are exactly the same. Okay. You can do this for anything, antlers or horns or wings or something like that that you want to stick out from the edge of your totem pole. So I'll open that up. I could do it as one piece right onto the front but for this example, I'm going to cut it down the middle so that I have two separate pieces, okay? And then I can start adding color. So you're totally welcome to add color by grabbing crayons or markers and adding the color, but it's actually kind of cool if you use just basic geometric shapes to create designs. So I can create squares, okay, here, and then I can start making patterns and details using those different kinds of colors, okay? So you might think it would be faster to just start coloring, but actually you can get some pretty good combinations of colors fairly quickly by just cutting out your basic geometric shapes and starting to layer those together, okay? Circles and squares and triangles, okay? If you know that you want things to be exactly symmetrical, you can of course use the symmetry cut to cut everything, but this is kind of a cool way to start layering up and creating details, okay? Two things at a time. So I'll cut that as a symmetrical detail, and then I'll just keep working to create the pattern and the details. So let me spend a little bit more time to put a few more things together just as an example to get you started, and then you can decide how far you want to push it, how much detail you want to create for your design. Alright, so I've got a bunch of pieces done now, but I haven't glued anything together yet, okay? And so that's the next step, right? Is just to take a little bit of glue and start gluing things down. And I've tried to keep things fairly symmetrical, okay, for this design. You wouldn't necessarily have to, but it seems to make the most sense to do that. Don't think that you just have to stay with these flat shapes all glued together. That's the place to start as you're doing your design, okay? But you can also make other things. Like I took this piece of paper and folded it into fourths, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you would think, oh, that's going to make a square because it has 4 sides, but it's really hard to glue those pieces together. So if you only do 4, then what you generally end up with is you fold those and you overlap 2 of the sides, and so you end up with a triangular shape. So you can start building shapes that are 3-dimensional too and add those to your shape, or you can do something else with them as well, which is what I'm going to do, and I'll show you in the next part. So let me glue this stuff all together, and then I'll start showing you how to add it to your cylinder. Okay, so we've got some things glued up, and I got my paper back here, the paper that I'm going to use to roll this up. And remember, the middle is this center line here, and the sides are over here on the side. So these were pretty long paper springs, which would be good for making things stick out pretty far off. But if I tried to do this, I feel like it's going to make this shape stick off of the paper a little farther than I really want it to, okay? So I'm going to add a little glue to both sides of this paper spring, the inside and this side. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that paper spring down first, and then I'm going to add a little glue under this flap to keep that part down, and I'm going to add a little glue under here. You don't need a ton of glue to stick most of these things down. They're just pieces of paper, so they're fairly lightweight. So don't overdo it. But now it will stick up off of the page a little bit, and especially look good when we roll it, okay? And it'll have a little 3-dimensional look to it. Now, don't make the mistake of putting 2 springs down and gluing something on top of those 2 springs, because when you bend the paper, those 2 springs are going to pull away from each other, and they're not going to allow you to bend your paper very well. If you actually do that, you'll figure out what the problem is right away. It would be better if you think you need 2 springs to put them vertically, okay, one above and one below, okay, and then the paper will still bend easily around the edge, okay. So we're going to go ahead and attach these moose antlers too, and remember these lines here on the side were supposed to be where the side of the antlers are. So let's see if that actually works for us, okay. So I'm going to put this on the side here and line it up with that edge, okay, and then we'll put that on the side here, okay, and we're going to give that a chance to dry for a little bit, okay, but we can sort of test it out and we can see, oh yeah, those are going to be on the sides. They're just going to need to be folded out after they're dry, okay. I think I'm probably going to need to switch my camera angle for you to see everything go 3-dimensional, but let's get these other parts into place first, okay. And this is all just basics, okay. If you get into this and you think it's pretty cool, okay, spend some time creating a bunch of different details and add it to your design, okay. So I'm going to glue these 2 arm shapes here on the sides as well, and then I'm going to glue these 2 pieces on and make those sort of like the hooves or the hands of my crazy multicolored moose creature. So we'll put some glue under here and here as well, okay? So you can work on that, you get the idea, okay? So let me let this dry up just a little bit, and then I'll show you how to fold everything up, okay, in just a moment. What you can do before you get ready to fold everything up is if you want to add detail with a crayon, you can do that. So grab some colors that kind of match the color scheme that you're using, and then if you actually want to add some detail onto there by drawing extra lines in there, that's kind of a cool way to do it, okay? And then you can add a little more detail a little bit more easily, okay, and quicker if you want to add some detail into some of these places with the crayon, okay? And so you can keep working on adding a little bit of detail as you go along, okay? And you can add detail to the background area as well, okay? So there's a lot you can do with that if you spend the time to really create those details. So let me get this dry and ready to go, and then I'll show you how to put it all together. Alright, cool. So change our camera angle a little bit, but here's everything glued up, okay? And as we start to bend it back together, we're gonna try to hook those 2 pieces together, and then it'll stand up and we'll have an idea of what the 3-dimensional look is. I've got those antlers glued on there. I probably want to fold them out so that they stick out towards the side now, okay? So I'm going to fold those out, okay, so that when I bend this back and hook it together, they're going to stick out towards the sides a little bit better, okay? And those are going to work. Now, what you have to do, and this is the tricky part here, is I've hooked those things together, and then I'm going to fold this up, okay? And I'm going to press this down, okay, so that it's flat. So this doesn't stick out of the back, okay, like this. it's going to be folded down flat. And the easiest way to keep this in place is with a stapler. Boom, magic stapler appears. So I'm going to fold this down, and I'm going to grab the stapler and staple that into place so that that is held together as a tube. And then I'll flip it over to the other side and we'll staple that down, okay? And then we've got that basic idea, okay, of our moose. We've got the antlers kind of facing out to the sides here, okay? We have to adjust those a little bit to get them all the way facing forward, but that's the right idea, okay? We've got these hand type things facing out to the side, okay? So they're working there. We could pull those out forwards a little bit more, okay, if we wanted to. We could add a little bit more to it. If we wanted to, we could work on the back too and add some details here and add a tail so that it was a true three-dimensional artwork, okay? If you walk all the way around it and see it from every different angle, okay? So it looks like we probably need to add some detail in here, some more for the head of the moose, okay? So, but you get the idea, okay? And if you're into it, you can try it out and see if you can create your own totem pole design, okay? Three-dimensional, all out of paper. So, alright, well, hopefully you thought that was kind of cool, and maybe you'll be into it and make something cool. If you do, send me a picture of it at popart@popolatha.org, and we'll share some of those out a little bit later. Alright, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.